If you guys want to get in line to ask questions, we're going to do a few up here first. I'm going to pitch it out to you guys in the audience. If you're in line, if you're standing in line waiting to ask a question, please kneel down so that the people in the audience can see it. You're not blocking it. So with that, I think we're ready to get going. Let's give it a big Tampa welcome to the Hound, Rory.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Sing for us.
Welcome back to Tampa.
Yeah, I was, and I was just as hot and sweaty then. How do you survive this heat? Oh, I know. Cold beer. That's happening.
Well, Rory, welcome. So I'd like to ask you, I know we're going to get all kinds of geek questions. So I'd like to ask you a few things about some of your other projects that you've done. In fact, a couple of things that are real favorites. But first, I want to start out early in your career because you did a lot of things before you were an actor too, right? MR.GEEKMEOUT. And there was something about a porridge commercial.
Well, I mean, I left school and I went to forestry school and forest management, shot that, and then travelled, and then came back. I could climb and I could cut down trees, and then ended up being a self-employed lumberjack, and I've moved around. I cut down trees all the time though, still. Probably formed my character. When you grow up using chainsaws, you tend to be cussing and swearing a lot. So I was kind of a bit hound-like in that way anyway, throwing chainsaws about and sort of formed my character maybe. And the porridge thing, that was my first break into show business. It was an advert advertising oatmeal, and they found me, as you do, and I was actually discovered. I used to swinging around. I used to rappel off this very famous bridge called the Forth Rail Bridge in Scotland, and I was one of the sort of mad painters that used to rappel down this bridge every day and paint it. And they had a documentary on these crazy guys, and I ended up showing off at the end of it and singing a song. And some advert agency saw me and went, that guy looks like the guy that's on the packet of this oatmeal. And that is how I got my first job into that business. And the funny thing was today I actually seen Val Kilmer. Did you manage to see Mr. Kilmer? He's about. He was a life changer as well, in a way, because I remember I was broke. I was just outside. I had just come out of school, and I found I was moving around the mountains in Wales, of all things. And I had to go home. I had no money. I was going to have to hitch home a long way. And I found a £20 note on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. And that led me staying for another couple of weeks. And lo and behold, one of the quarries that I used to rock climb in, there was a castle built. I asked about it, and it turns out they were filming this film called Willow. And I got a part as an extra in Willow. And that's where I met Val. And then 15 years down the line, suddenly he's in my bedroom telling me how to work with Oliver Stone, and we're in Alexander together. And he really mentored me big time through that, and stayed my friend and looked after me. And I actually haven't seen him for quite a few years, and to be honest, the last time I saw him, I shook his hand in London and he said, "My God, you've got really cold hands." And I said, "Well, to be honest, I'm down in my luck." He said, "Where are you staying these days?" I said, "To be honest, I'm staying under a bush in a park." I went, "Seriously?" He took me out to dinner and lent me $50. So tonight I'm looking forward to buying my meal and I've got $50 somewhere.
Segue into one of the things I wanted to ask you about. I thought, I mentioned some of the things that I really enjoyed your work in before Game of Thrones, and one of those was Alexander, which, I played Kratos, one of Alexander's
mighty Kratos.
Right. I did at the time I was in graduate school doing Greek archaeology, and so me and all of my buddies, we knew who all these characters were from history.
And were you not quite impressed how quite close to the story they really...
It was incredible. That's why I love it.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I know that critics have been kind of hit or miss with it.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame. It's a shame. I think it still stands up. I think people like it the further it goes on, I think. Yeah. It came on the telly the other day. I was staying at a friend's and my sister phoned me, or texted me and said, "You've got Alexander's on," and I ended up staying up to 4 in the morning watching it and crying.
And for us, for someone like me that studies and stuff, to be able to see that world come to life, to see Alexandria on the screen,
remember the sets and everything.
It's spectacular film. It's an absolutely spectacular film. Now, I know that filming that was not easy. You filmed, you're in North Africa, is that right?
Yeah, we're in Morocco. And you've heard actors going, "Yeah, we went through boot camp, yeah, it was terrible." I mean, seriously, this was hardcore. And the cast were picked meaningly to be sort of kind of tough. They were tough nuts. When I met Stone in the first edition, he tried to crush my hand. I crushed it back. And he said, "Can you fight?" I read the script to, nervous thinking I'm going to have to read this thing to him. He said, "Can you fight?" I said, "I'm from Glasgow," and then showed that my nose had been broken several times. I think that's what got the job, to be honest. And then suddenly I'm with all these other, I was the only Scotsman, they were a bunch of Irishmen, and we hit the desert 2-3 weeks at least, no communications, and we became kind of soldiers. We learned how to move, we were all given a few hundred men each, and how to drill them and fight with them. And boy, 6 months later we moved to another country, moved to Thailand, and suddenly you're with all the men that you were like brothers by then, and we were hardcore drinking at night time, I must say, and fighting, and it was just great. And just remember, we were all there, and we were just staring into the jungle ahead, and suddenly there was a whistle, and I'm not joking, 50 elephants were running at you with 500 men, with no stunt rehearsals, and basically, someone was going, "Right, you go for that big guy coming, I'll do you well, get out." And then come back, and then Oliver would come up and go, "You realise you smashed one of my main Thailand stuntmen's teeth right down his throat?" I said, "Well, tell him not to run at me then." It was amazing time at Alexandra. We were never the same again. And I don't think we'll ever be in a film like that. It was something special. Yeah.
It's a great film. I wish it got better credit.
Yeah, it's a
spectacular movie. Another one, and this is far less known, but another one of my favorites, and this is another movie that's, I think, is really underrated, is Solomon Kane.
Oh yeah.
How many people have seen Solomon Kane? Not enough. Go see this film. I think it's on Netflix right now.
And the baddie, actually, the guy that was Malachi, maybe? On the Flames, guess who he was? He plays the Night King in Game of Thrones.
That's right.
I actually remember doing it. James Purefoy was fantastic, and my character lived. He lived, and there was talk of a sequel actually, but I've never heard.
Yeah, it didn't happen. It had distribution.
Right. Is it a series of books? I don't know.
Yeah, it was. It comes from Robert E. Howard, the same guy that created Conan the Barbarian.
Right.
Conan the Barbarian. Solomon Kane is another one of his characters.
Right.
He was in Marvel Comics and all as well. In fact, he's actually George Martin's, one of George Martin's favorite guests. Just to kind of bring everything full circle. So it's a really, great dark fantasy, sword and sorcery, dark fantasy, set kind of in the Elizabethan period. You were great in that. You sort of stormed the enemy castle. So you've done a lot of things.
So that was a cold shoot, that was hard.
It seemed like it was raining for that.
Yeah.
So you did a lot of these types of films, sort of sword and sandal, sword and sorcery type movies, fantasy movies, which obviously probably helped.
I think so. I knew how to swing a sword by then. Yeah.
But Hot Fuzz was kind of a change.
I actually met Simon Pegg a couple of years ago at a function in the hotel. I was wearing the films and I was walking down the aisle and I was walking down this corridor of the hotel and I saw him walking opposite me, coming towards me, and I remember going, "No effing way," and I suddenly just turned into "Yarr." End up strangling him just for a laugh. And that was real fun doing that job. It's the one job that I knew that I would always remember my lines.
I gotta say that the grocery store fight scene has got to be one of the best fight scenes.
Yeah, that was cool. I remember it was Rowley who was the main stuntman there for Simon, and he's actually the head stuntman in Game of Thrones now. And the first time I threw him across one of the alleys, I dislocated his shoulder, and then my body double was Daniel, who is very often the body double for the Hound, particularly in the big fight scenes in series 4, I think. And he hurt himself as well. But it was great fun. It was a really great bunch of characters there. The cast was, especially old. I like hanging around with the old actors because they've got all the stories.
Yeah.
You find out where their secret pub is because they usually pick a pub away from all the rest. A bit of a longer walk, and I found out the pub and they let me in. And I was told to shut up and listen to their stories, which was just a pleasure.
So let's talk about Game of Thrones a little bit. We'll jump to questions. How did you get the part? How did the casting?
Casting was down in London, and I remember it was in Soho, London, and I remember I took the train down from Glasgow, and I was exhausted and I'd been up in small hours. I think I'd been on a quad bike, boat, train, bus to get to this. And I fell asleep on a park bench, waiting for my time to come up. And I remember getting kicked by a park warden in the feet going, "Hey, you know the roads here?" He thought I was a tramp. And, people were coming in here for their lunch. And so I remember dusting myself off and just going, "Excuse me." And and then I went into the audition room and, well, my sister had given me about 4 lines and I'd learned them and I was practicing them while everybody else was going in. And then I saw all the other characters had at least a full page of dialogue. And so I asked, what's this? And basically I'd been given the wrong sheet, the wrong dialogue. So I would have to learn this whole page. And I didn't have enough time. Basically they put me to the back of the list and I was in a heat wave, and for 4 hours I waited in that waiting room as all these actors came out. And by that time I was raging. I mean, I don't really like big cities anyway, and that was it. London, that's it. I'm never going again. And I remember writing, there was one point, I think it was the look at me bit, and I remember just doing a note going, "This is the moment when I'm going to unleash all my anger of today. And I remember when I suddenly went, look at me, look at me! And the guy nearly fell off his chair, right back. I walked out, I said, do you want me to do another one for fun? And well, I don't. Apparently it was George Martin that saw it, and they saw me doing that, and it terrified him, and I got the part. What a part! You know, I didn't really understand how big it was going to be. When we first started, they started in Scotland for the pilot, and I knew there was. I did read the first book, and I thought, well, there's a hope that there's some kind of story going on here. But I really did think, because it was such a big cast and all the world politics that was going on, that I really was just going to be a spear carrier in the back. I was going to be the bodyguard, as I'd been many a bouncer and a bodyguard before, and keep an eye on this horrible little prince. And that was it, but somehow this part just got bigger and bigger. I did actually have quite a big speech in the first, well, they stopped the pilot, I think they threw it out, changed some cast, and they started all over again, spent millions on it, threw it all out the window, started again in Ireland, and then they said to me, right, when you're not doing the speech anymore. The speech was the audition speech, and I thought, God, are you firing me here? And they went, no, you're in the show, you're going to be in for a long time, I can assure you. We're just going to bring you in slowly. And they did. It took a time, but it was wonderful, because my part got more and more, and
it really did grow over the seasons.
And for them to go on this side journey with this road trip with the Hound and Aria later on, it was incredible. They did, and you guys, the fans seemed to love it, and the humour of it. Maybe there was a kind of gentle relief in amongst all the seriousness that was going on. Yeah, it really worked out.
Yeah, I mean, it did, and it felt that way. It felt like that maybe this wasn't entirely to start with.
Yeah.
But that art just became so great.
Yeah, maybe they looked at it and just started, maybe they didn't know, I don't know, maybe they saw us and went, let's just carry on this road trip for a bit longer.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, actually, but maybe.
All right, well, I know we got a lot of people want to ask some questions, so why don't we reach out to the audience?
Yes, hello. And it's a perfect segue in your story of how you got the part. So I'm going to ask, how much of your character, of yourself, did you bring to your character, and how much of the Hound is total antithesis to who you are?
Well, unfortunately, I would say quite a lot of the character of Hound is a bit like me. You know, I mentioned this growing up with chainsaws and bolts, and I've got to watch, I can't swear, but I really have been effing and blinding all my life. You know, there's that kind of thing, and I have actually, I'm quite a loner, really. I'm very happy with myself doing that way. I'm not walking around full of hate, but I mean, I'm known by my friends as some grumpy bastard. I admit it, you know. But it's just the environment I'm in, you know, I suppose. But yeah, that's about it really, just a few character traits like that, especially the grumpiness. And people know not to mess with me if I haven't had my breakfast, that's for sure. It's awful, my temper is awful. But once you feed the big man, it's okay.
Otherwise you'll chop your head off with an axe.
Yeah, that's right, I'll chop his head off.
Let's go, David.
Who would you kill in the Game of Thrones series who you haven't killed already? Who do you kill in the Game of Thrones series who you haven't killed already?
Yeah, who would you like to kill that you haven't already killed?
Mountains.
I'm not going to say the mountain. mean, I would have loved to kill Joffrey. That would have been and it would have been much slower, none of this poison thing. Real slow torture. You know, me and the Hound have got no time for bullies. So, yeah, it'd be him for sure. But I mean, there's a lot of nasty. That little finger, is that right?
God, I don't know, I did a piano with Jack last year. He's such a nice kid.
Oh, Jack is one of the nicest guys I've ever
So
met.
nice.
Incredible, complete opposite.
Yeah, he's good. Jack's amazing.
Oh, me?
Yes,
Hi,
ma'am.
it's me, Kathy. This might be a personal question, I'm not sure, but I was just wondering why you named your boat. Whoa!
Pardon?
The name of your boat.
What did you name your
No
boat?
chance. No chance. No chance.
Is that a consolation beer?
No, these days with communication, no, I'm sorry, I can't mention that.
Can you name?
My old boat was called Catalina Q, but that's
Oh, that's awesome, thank you.
thank you. And Little Kim before that.
Hi, I really love your character, Kenny, from the book group.
Oh yeah.
That character is really different from the Hound. I was wondering what kind of character you prefer. Somebody that you kind of already like, or somebody who is the antithesis of your actual person?
That's a good question. Well, first of all, playing Kenny was a one-off thing because he was in a wheelchair and it was a big guy. I felt that I wasn't playing the big guy because I'm sitting down all the time. That was good. I felt that was a one-off with that.
Yeah, no axes, no chainsaws.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so many sides to this Hound as well, which is wonderful. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever get a part given as good as that, really, to be honest. So I would say the Hound was the one-off kind of thing.
Thank you.
Two questions real quick. How long does it take you to get into makeup and full costume? And is that your favorite beer or do you have another one?
No, I'm a Guinness man. Guinness until it gets too much and then onto the whiskey. And yes, when we first started doing the Hounds, it was about 3 hours, but now it's been brought down to about nearly 2 hours, an hour and a half sometimes. It's still it's pretty horrible. I mean, it's all over now. You gotta remember, you guys are waiting for the final thing, and which must be really exciting. But I've just been thinking that this last couple of days, especially signing autographs and stuff, and I'm seeing pictures of things, of me in scenes, and then I'm seeing old friends, and there's Beric, and there's Soros, and there's that big bitch Quentin. Which I kind of smile, but I'm in kind of mourning now, and I think we all are. Imagine what that's like. Well, you can't. I can't remember what the question is. Can I just go on with this? I'm just wondering what the hell you guys are going to do once this is all over. I mean, I'm lucky I keep myself busy, and usually I'm some scared little boy in an ocean going, I should be out of here, I'm scared. And you're not thinking about Thrones, you're not thinking about it. It reminds you all the time when you're signing photos and being asked questions, and it's like losing a limb, you're trying to get over it. It's quite upsetting, a little bit. Anyway, that's it. Sorry, I've lost it there. But do you get what I mean? I'm in mourning, actually. It's all over for me, but you've got another year of amazingness. What are you going to do after it? I mean, you're going to have to get into some show now to try and or start building a boat or something. I don't know. Pretty cool.
Amazon Lord of the Rings.
left for almost a decade.
Yeah.
Better part of it.
But it's the young ones, it's the youngest casts. Maisie, Sophie, I mean, I remember, you know, I'm a big grown man, and I'd gone around the world and done several jobs in different fields, not just acting, and my own person, I know who I am. But these are people that came in and that was their first job, and they were little kids. You know, I'm looking at the time, that first season going, oh no, here we go, a bunch of kids actors. This could be an absolute nightmare, that's the reputation. But somehow, I'm not joking, every single one of them has been fantastic, absolutely wonderful people. I don't know if it's just because they appreciate that. Probably that is why it is, because it's same with all the grown-up actors. There's no assholes in it. Maybe they've just got rid of them all. Joffrey, no, it's not. Yeah, it's amazing how they've all grown up and they've really handled it well. And they've grown up into adults really well, and yeah, they're cool. You know, if you met them, you wouldn't even necessarily know what you did if you didn't know what roles. You just think you're all right.
I mean, like Jack started going back to school, going to graduate school.
Yeah, isn't that fantastic? But I do remember being around at dinner, and Jack was all these actors going, so what are you doing next year? What are you doing? Oh, well, I'm going into this, and I'm going to do that. And they got to Jack, what are you doing, Jack? Well, I'm giving up, I'm going back to university. Oh, well, this is career suicide, says one person. And I'm going, good on you, Jack. I don't want to see him again. Good on him, I want him to do that. Maybe he comes back or something.
Hi, thank you for coming here, by the way.
Pleasure, all part of the service.
Besides the Hound, what character have you played in the past that you would relate to the most?
Oh my gosh, I'm not going to say Yarp. No, I like this Kenny from the book group. I like that kind of things. I relate to. I mean, every character you try and relate to, but there's no one going, that's me. To be honest, it's not. Totally individual. No, that hasn't happened yet. I don't think I would want it to happen, to be honest.
Not even the porridge guy?
Oh yeah, the porridge. I mean, the porridge guy, sorry, porridge guy, the original porridge guy that is on the packet actually built the house that I live in half the time. You could make that up.
And also you have your harmonica, can you play something?
Pardon?
You have your harmonica, can you play something?
I did, but I just realised that one of the holes aren't working. Let me try again. It's so small, I can't find it. That sounds so wrong. But I'll feel myself up until I find it.
Hi, I'm a big fan, and I would like to know what's the strangest experience you've ever had with a fan?
Well, there's one fan I met one night and it affected my putt. I play golf and it affected my putting for at least a month. I had to sign 2 inner thighs with my face on them last week. That was pretty weird. I've never signed my name with three N's either, but you know, when in Rome. Find my harmonica.
So, one of the most profound and touching moments for Sanders' character is when he marries the farmer and his daughter. Can you tell us a bit about your thoughts and feelings during that scene in regards to Sanders' growth as a character? And also, I know you can't give us details, but can we look forward to more contemplative and redemptive scenes for the Hound in the next season?
Well, I'll go to the last one. Can we look forward to No, I really honestly don't want to reveal anything with that. I can't. Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about, this bowl thing. What is it? Some bowl?
It's a game bowl.
It's a game bowl. No, I'm not saying anything about that. I can't. Now, what was the question about the farmer and the daughter? Yes, I remember that scene.
One of the most profound and touching moments for Sanders' character is when he buries the farmer and his daughter.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit more about your thoughts and feelings during that scene in regards to Sanders' growth as a character?
So, my feelings about what was happening there? Yeah. Yeah, because he'd been back, he'd been to that, he'd remembered and realised that his words, as true as they were, they'll be dead by winter, came back and saw this kid that'd been killed by the dad and out of mercy, and it all come true, and he felt, well, he was sad with it, because it was true, and he was softening by that time, I think, and showing a bit of remorse, and just trying to do the right thing, and yeah, it was quite a moving scene, that, wasn't it? Yeah, that's all I seem to remember from it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I think it was a powerful scene for the audience's perception of...
It was showing something different, wasn't it?
Well, and just the fact that you realize that when you were saying those things earlier, he wasn't just being a jerk, it was just, he's seen a lot, he's seen this before, he knows, he's a realist about the way the world works.
Yeah.
And it's, I know it was a powerful scene. Can I ask y'all though, do me a favor, please keep it to one question so we can get everybody to have a chance. If you do have a second question, that's okay.
Yeah,
Just come back in the back of the line so everybody can get a chance.
I'm on the fourth Guinness.
So I just wanted to know, what is your favorite one-liner from The Hound?
Well, there's children here. I have actually enjoyed all the swearing, to be honest. You know, I mean, just funny things when you read. Remember this first scene with Tormund? You're the Hound, and just f off. You know, and you read that, and you one, it's funny, and two, God, that's the way I talk half the time as well. You know, you're in a bad day. Excuse me, are you the Hound? F off. It's so funny how the amount of people that go, you're quite happy. I mean, we have a hell of a job. I'm literally been here half the day, and the amount of people that ask me to swear at them, and thanks very much. No problem, man.
Chicken lines.
Yeah, the chicken line. I mean, the tavern scene was...
Yeah. That was good.
That's fun. I mean, you've got to remember, I'm not jumping up and down during that day going, oh, hey, isn't this fun? You know, I mean, I'm nervous. I've been studying, you know, I don't find it easy, but I don't walk in this go, the hound's back. It's a long, long process. I mean, months and months before I phone all my friends, stop all relationships, don't see anyone, and go total recluse-wise, and it's just the way, it takes its toll. That's why I'm kind of glad it's over, because it's not that easy, to be honest. But yeah, for example, the chicken scene, I mean, it was great fun, but I've still got my brother-in-law, who's the props man, laughing away, filling up a pint with David and Dan, the producers, chuckling away, and I'm on my third litre of flat ginger beer. You know, it's not easy. I'm just looking forward to get all this dialogue over and get on with the fight. And the fighting's been fun actually, because that's just full-on aggression, and that's just a pleasure.
Do you do a lot of your stunts?
Yeah, I do all my stunts. I'm trying not to do them, but it's funny how you've got a stuntman always ready to go, but they just, whoever's filming it, going, no, you do it, take the kicking, go for it. You know, I mean, every season I'm bruised. The last season on that dragon, that's what killed my legs, because I was in the back of the dragon and I'm having to do the splits. It's got a big ass, that dragon. And running with a white on my shoulders, and then I'm limping through the winter, and then we get the call, right, we're starting again, you look at the script and you go, oh my God. Like one more time, come on, big man, you can do it! But I mean, the thing is, I mean, I've experienced in the last few weeks, finishing off Thrones, all these actors, they get the last clap. Well, that's a wrap for so and so, and then they do a little speech, and then David and Dan and producers appear, and we're giving a picture. And the theme of nearly every thank you speech, that's my last day on Thrones, is I don't think we'll ever, and I think you know this, to the whole crew, I think, and the crew will all agree with it, they'll never in our lifetime, I don't think, be as good and great a show as this, as well written, and as the talent in it, for, behind the camera as well as in front of the camera. And that was the ongoing thing, I think this is we'll be very, very lucky if something ever comes along in all our careers, all the types of work we do in this show, the hundreds and hundreds of people that are all there, it's never going to be as good as this. So just appreciate that.
Popular culture, looking at popular culture history. This is going to be a show that 50 years from now, people are going to look back on and see. I mean, it changed everything. It was a game changer. It changed how we consume our media. Game of Thrones really did that. So yeah, that's so true. I mean, it's a really special show.
But what do you mean by changing? What do you mean by that?
I think that
the way it's been viewed.
Yes, changing. So that now streaming, for example. It was around before that, but Game of Thrones made this idea of taking taking a story that you have and doing something in between what would have been a 3 or 4 hour film and a 22 episode normal television series, condensing it down so that you can have a larger budget with fewer episodes and do almost film quality level work, but in a story arc that has enough room to breathe that you can't do in a 3 or 4 hour film. Yeah. It doesn't feel stretched out like a 22 episode normal television season. Yeah. A few things have done that before that. Rome, was also instrumental in that, but it was Game of Thrones that I think really sold this new way of storytelling. And so now everyone is video it. I deal with, do a lot of work as an advisor on certain franchises and stuff. One of those is Conan the Barbarian, you mentioned earlier, right? So there was the film that Jason Momoa did. Well, those property owners now, they're not even looking to do a film again. They're like, forget it, that's not where it's at anymore. It's doing this type of a streaming series, so they're doing a show for Amazon, right? Doing their streaming. So it's changed the industry tremendously. People who was around before that.
Does this mean I'm going to have to get the internet? I mean, I look at the internet, I go to the library once a week.
It's changed forever. And for the better. I think creatively, it's such an interesting way to see people. You're a part of history of this.
You kind of already answered the question I wanted to ask. Originally my question was going to be what was the most physically demanding scene, but instead what was the most emotionally demanding scene? Also, I love
you. Emotionally, I seem to remember quite well. Apart from what's ahead, I would say when I went on the road trip with the Hound and Arya, we went out and then the Hound started opening up about, oh yes, that scene opening up about what happened to him, about his burns. That was quite deep. That, I was touching on things that I hadn't done before. Yeah, I would say that.
Now, was that not supposed to be the speech that got cut from the first season? Was that or something along those lines?
Yeah, I think, yes it was. That's right, it was. I'm trying to remember it now. It seems almost so long ago. But yes, that's exactly what it was. It was telling the story And you know, that was a big thing for the Hound, because the Hound, guess what? He never, ever told that story. I think if you knew the character, there's no way, especially not to a little girl, never discussed that. So it was a massive thing that, you know, it was a lot of work that actually, just to get around, just to get that going. Hopefully it worked.
To answer your question from earlier, when the show is over, we're still going to be waiting for the next books.
Oh, is there more books? Oh no, that's right. We're ahead of the books now, aren't we?
Yeah, we're still waiting on George R.R. So my question was, did you have a certain actor that you had the most fun working with, or did you have any prank wars behind the scenes?
Could you repeat that?
Did you have any prank wars behind the scenes, or actors that you had fun working with?
Oh, I'm missing.
Yeah, like, you know, you prank someone, they prank you back.
I'm always doing stupid things. I mean, my common thing I do all the time, to be honest, and it's not actually funny. It must cost, over time, it must cost thousands and thousands of dollars. But I'm quite good at pickpocketing. I'm quite good at pickpocketing swords. Somehow, maybe I've got the reach, but I can bump in and go, oh, sorry, you know, go up to Big Christoph, go up to Tormund or whatever, or Beric Dondarrion or Thoros or whatever. You bump in and you go, oh, sorry, and at the same time you steal their sword, and then you go, and we're going to go for a take, and action. Right, take the whites back, all these hundreds of people. Right, start again. Who's the clown that took Thoros' sword?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you again for returning to Tampa. Speaking of the emotional aspects you mentioned in that scene with Arya and with the Hound, if you feel comfortable speaking about it, how do you prepare for the emotional aspects of the acting rather than the physical stunt work? And how has that changed with working in your work with Sandra McCann, taking that on for the future?
Yeah, well, revealing quite a bit. No, but I mean, I'll be totally honest, I have meaningfully, you know, going back to that scene, I think 7 or 8 months before, total cut off of all relationships, and I actually, it's bad this, but I actually meaningfully made myself lonely a little bit, and just totally on my own, and it did help, but it's not healthy, and to be honest, I'd like to stop that. I'd like to be a better actor and not take that home, because it ain't healthy, is it? I still don't understand how actors have wives and kids, and they have to do terrible things during the day, whatever, especially Game of Thrones, and then come back and have to deal with, just normal life. I've never managed to do that, so it does take its toll, to be honest, and I'd like to stop that. Get a grip, Rory.
Thank you, Ken.
If you could be any other role in Game of Thrones, what would you be?
Thank you. I think, well, was this brothel owner? Yes. I'd just like to, I would have, I liked Braun, he was quite a laugh. Braun was good. When the Hound and Braun met, we were very, very alike, I suppose. Or maybe I was taller. Braun had the wit. But, I love Tyrion. Tyrion's just incredible, the sharp wit. And he's a courageous man, and Tyrion or Braun. Thank you. You should be watching it before you go.
I would like to ask about your amazing role in 2007 Hot Fuzz when you played Michael Armstrong. My question to you is about the casting for that. You told us about Game of Thrones. I was just frustrated you just walked in, just kind of the audition for that. What was it like?
Did you say it one more time? Did you ever go to Game of Thrones and you ever grow up and be Lurch?
From the 2007 legendary film Hot Fuzz, you played the role of Michael Armstrong. And my question about was the audition for that. Was it just you walked in and that's our guy? Or did you walk in and like act out the scenes? What did you do? How did you get that?
I know, that's interesting. Well, first of all, you won't believe who was in the waiting room well, that was probably the funniest audition I've ever done. Not that auditioning is funny, it's very stressful. But can you imagine all the types that they brought in for Michael Armstrong for a yard? So it was with all these people, and guess who was staying right opposite me? Was Christian Nairn Hodder. So we both auditioned for that part. And I think I actually got that part because I used to be the unpaid night watchman of a castle in Scotland. And I remember telling you the story that, I literally used to live in the gatehouse of this castle in a turret, and when a visitor came by, you had to go, sorry, that's the Guinness, you had to go downstairs and turn a wheel, and then these giant oak doors opened up, and if someone arrived, there was a small door inside the main door, and I would open the door and just lean out and go, "You ran." I told them that story that I was this kind of with all this kind of thing. So maybe that helped. I don't know.
Well, thank you so much. Enjoy again tonight for us. Thank you.
So I'm a little short on time. I just want to ask you real quick. Obviously, you can't talk about next season of Game of Thrones. Are there any other upcoming projects that you've got that you can't talk about that you'd like to take up to?
No, you wouldn't really. See, once this show's finished, you wouldn't believe the amount of times I'm just honestly not even. I'm being sent. I'm sure I'm being sent fantastic things, and I just don't want to. I just want to go away in my boat and disappear. To be honest, for a while, I need a break. To hell with it. I need a break, and I actually only want to do my next job, whatever it is. I want it to be a case of that you can't not do it. You can't. It's something like The Hound. You've got to go for it. It's got to be something amazing. Hopefully, that's the plan. But I don't know what it's going to be.
And real quick, just want to make a real quick announcement. We'll get the last couple of questions. Rory's going to be doing an impromptu, unscheduled autograph session back at his table immediately after this panel. So if you guys haven't had a chance to get your autograph, this might be a good time to do that.
And I'm back tomorrow as well.
Back tomorrow as well. Okay, cool.
Are you having a good time anyway?
Questions, Ed?
Of all of these skills you've developed as an actor, like improv, sword and fighting, what's the one that you're most proud of?
Sorry, could you repeat one more time a little louder?
Of all these skills you picked up while acting, what are you most proud of?
Well, I've liked getting to be quite a good swordsman, to be honest. That's been great. I actually took my swords home. And to be honest, I remember being drunk last week. No one was about, and I had the big sword out and just running around. Thank God there was no one about. I nearly chopped my own head off. But that's it. Now I'm quite a good swordsman, so that's been it, to be honest.
Okay, last one, really quickly.
Hi, I'm sorry, I'm kind of starstruck right now. I'm a really big fan of yours, so I'm like kind of really good news right now. So my question was kind of a relationship development with Arya Stark. I know that you can't reveal anything about the new season, but do you think that Arya Stark now, with everything that she knows how to do, that she would actually be able to defeat the Hound if they were to go into that?
Great, last question. Arya. Can Arya beat the Hound?
Do you think
I haven't watched it. She beat Brian?
Kind of, yeah.
I haven't watched it. You've got to remember, I haven't actually watched a lot of it. I read the script, but I forgot that bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, she was probably the best, of course. And she's so nimble, she is that little Jack Russell with a little... I think she would, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, you know, I'm the big... She's... that bloody needle. The needle that kept on my leg every time I walked with her. But it did its damage. Yes, I think she could defeat the hound, unfortunately. I taught her too well. Just enjoy the next season. It's been amazing, and I love it. All the best.